Reminds me of Down Home Church, sitting there with JD, all fire brimstone. John picks up the remote control changer and switches channels, then clicks off the set. The action seems to be related to the mention of JD, Eileen's husband. Around the room there are a few small pictures, a few masculine objects which do not call attention to themselves, but which have been there all the time. John stands face to face with Eileen, softly moves his hands up and down her arms, almost as if to feel the texture of the goosebumps. John. Now I know he can't come charging in the door. It'd be too corny, like the Late Show. He holds up the remote control, still in his hand. They both laughed. JD's dead. John says nothing, and carefully masks his response by disengaging from the embrace ever so easily. Well, it's raining like hell, and I'm riding the Chicago Transit Authority these days. 1 o'clock's the last one. John indicates yes, and walks toward the door. Well, thanks. Miles must have me on his shit list, but... No, you're wrong. Once he speaks his mind, he's clear. She has moved over to a closet, and she brings out a Sears old-style water-repellent coat, which she offers to John. Otherwise, you'll get wet. John looks at the coat, then at Eileen. He puts the coat on, kisses Eileen, and runs out into the rain to catch his bus. Cut to exterior apartment, rooftop, day. A white pigeon fills frame. Its movements are in very slow motion. We are most aware of the beauty and infinite graceful complexity of nature's flying machine. Montage. John has borrowed a camera and is directing Miles doing things with the pigeons. We see them on the rooftop against the antenna. We see them on the lakefront and in the deep canyon of LaSalle Street. After a while, John's camera is no longer in evidence. What does become evident in this montage is the relationship, one of some consequence, between the boy and the man. An old Chicago landmark mansion is being torn down. The swinging iron ball whacks 1870 brick and mortar. Dust of debris make finger rays in the afternoon sun. A construction man with a gold tin hat. Construction man. To John and Miles. You and your kid better move back of the barrier. The cockpit-like cubicle has an upholstered chair which puts the man in a semi-reclined position, like an astronaut. The control room cab is a mass of dials, lights, toggle switches, servo levers. We know that the glass-enclosed cockpit is turning because of the light which moves across his face. Long slope pan, strip-mile hills. We see the surface of the earth ripped raw. We hear the heavy, throaty sound of 1,000 diesel horses mixed with the high whine of the electrical motors they drive. Camera passes Miles and his father in an attitude and situation not unlike the one which we have just left with John. Taller than a 20-story building, biting out 2 boxcars of earth in one scoop, operated by the one man, towering over a pickup truck, relievate in size to a Tonka toy. We see the largest earth-moving machine in the world. Miles and his father hike across the raw hills. They stop by a railroad truck and hunt for pieces of coal along the track and in between the trees. Back to John and Miles' montage. Miles tells John that his father had left him. Mother's school had been put in a Grundy school, Grundy County. The mines had been closed with nothing in sight but welfare. In one of the last scenes of the montage, Eileen is with John and Miles. It is a big event for Midwest pigeon racers. Present are hundreds of people, families and friends. They take part in and watch the release of 3,000 pigeons in a sky-blackening takeoff. John does not appear in a number of scenes in which we see Miles with other pigeon enthusiasts, working timers, comparing flight times and condition of birds. Cut 2. Exterior parking lot of suburban restaurant. Early a.m. Parked every which way, at all angles, are 25 sports cars. Members of the sports car club are dressed in stylish, Esquire-approved rally clothes, the women affecting varieties of colorful headgear to protect their hair from top-down wind. Generally, the atmosphere is quiet and social. Occasionally, an engine will fire and rev. Some owners are dusting hoods. Others study maps. These are the ubiquitous early morning plastic coffee cups. Standing between a bright red Corvette and a new orange competition package Camaro are John, Eileen, Fred, the film loader, and his girlfriend. Fred says, "This is Midland Stanny. John Cassavetes." John, "Eileen Horton." John pats the orange Camaro and walks around it, imitating a TV used car salesman. "My Cinderella coach with 300 horses, conned from Ruby Chevrolet, who think I still have a clout at Channel 5, to be returned by 8:30 p.m. Not midnight?" They laugh and ad-lib small talk. Various maps are being passed out to drivers. Watches are set up. Rally contenders get in the cars and start off. Interior and exterior Camaro, series of shots. John and Eileen, she is navigating. The road is outside the city. It passes the big refineries of Calumet, the steel mills of Gary. At one checkpoint, a well-dressed executive-type young man is standing by an XKE Jag. The hood is up, and steam is rising from the radiator. The man's girlfriend is coming back towards the car after a short trip to the woods. On the Jag bumper is a Kennedy sticker. John, getting out of the Camaro. "That'll teach you to buy a foreign car." Young executive. "Just the man I'm looking for. I need 2 third-base tickets to the White Sox game." John, extending his arms. "You're looking at one of the vast army of unemployed." The young executive looks at the new Camaro. John, "I'm a con man." Young executive, "Damn. Our agency just asked Penbaker to come in from NY to cover Kennedy. Maybe you could help him?" John, "Why not? The old arm is getting rusty." John and Eileen get back in their car, and as it starts to move, out at a good clip, young executive says, "At the amphitheater, 7:30, Penny." Cut 2, exterior door. Eileen's apartment, night. John is kissing Eileen. It has been going on for a while. John wants to go into the apartment. The words are whispered, passionate. Eileen, although involved in cooperating, says no, that Miles is in there. John gets aggressive, then backs off, leaves. We see that Miles has observed the scene. He was standing halfway up the stairs, dressed in his pajamas. He had been on the roof, checking on his birds. Interior of the apartment. Eileen turns on a lamp. She is still feeling the mixed excitement and fear of John's lovemaking. She walks into Miles' room, sees that he's not in bed. She calls his name outside the bathroom door, then opens it. The room is empty, and a sink faucet is running. She walks in, turns off the water, then leaves the apartment and runs. Exterior rooftop night. Up the steps and onto the roof, past where Miles had been, over to the pigeon coop. Exterior city streets, night. Exterior city streets, night. Eileen looks for Miles. Her guilt relates physical love to rejection of or neglect of her son.